Hey, you guys. Welcome back. Or welcome to another episode of Joy with Intention. I'm your host, Joy. So lovely to have you here. So lovely for coming back. I am currently still trying to figure out this intro, but that is okay because we will just figure it out as we go along. Yeah, you know the vibes already. So, today. Oh, actually, no. We gotta run it back real quick before we start every episode. You already know what it is. Gratitude dumps. Really quick, really simple. Just 3 to 5 things that we're grateful for, that we're happy for, just to get us into the mood, into living intentionally and getting into what we're about to talk about. So, yeah, 3 things I'm grateful for today. I am grateful. Oh my gosh, I got a new phone case. I'm so grateful for it. It's like my favorite color. By the way, if you guys can't tell, I love the color blue. I love the color blue so much. I love the color light blue. Oh, I love it so much. Yeah, so I got a new phone case. I'm really grateful for that. Sorry, I didn't realize I was actually talking so fast. I don't know where I'm running to, bro, but it's okay. I will slow down. Yeah, got a new phone case. Light blue. It is so cute. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. So yeah, I'm really grateful for that. That's one thing I'm really grateful for. And then second thing I am grateful for the gift of being able to learn languages, even just the gift of languages. I'm absolutely loving the opportunity of being able to learn Spanish in college and actually be able to take up a language academically. Like, I think honestly just learning and knowing a language, it just sets you up there, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm really grateful for that. I love being able to learn a new language and travel. Yes, the last thing I'm grateful for is the gift of travel. Oh my gosh, I love traveling so much. Especially because I think you don't actually, I personally just can't say I've actually lived until I've actually gone and explored the world I've lived in. I've actually gone and visited and seen and met and bonded with the people I share this world with. Like, what on earth? Especially because what if there's someone who could literally be like your twin flame, or like literally have the same personality as you in in like some other country or culture, and then that even happens to be a language that you started learning. Like, honestly, I just think, yeah, traveling languages, I absolutely love it. I'm so all for it. But yeah, that's my little gratitude dump for the start of this episode. You can just pause the episode, or you could write in your notes app. It can just be simple. Just think it, say it, write it, whatever you feel most comfortable with. But yeah, gratitude dumps just before we start every episode, just to get us into the moment. And also, gratitude is such an amazing thing to implement to your life as well. So yeah. But yeah, let's get straight into the episode. So today we will be talking about the fine line between selflessness and self-neglect. And we will also be talking about basically, like, yeah, that topic. And oh wow, I kind of breathed quite violently there. I'm sorry. That kind of jump scared me too, I'm not gonna lie, but we move on. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about living for you and living for others, the difference, and how we can start living for ourselves more and why we should. Yeah, so I was on Pinterest yesterday. Sorry. I was on Pinterest yesterday and I was just looking at some random, like, little pins, little ideas. I was just looking at, like, quotes, because I absolutely love quotes and self-care posts and all that kind of cute stuff. So I was, like, looking on there and I found this post, and it was basically talking about the different type of emotional wounds, and then it was showing about the neglect wound. So I was like, okay, that's actually a good thing to talk about, because I think that's something that more of us than we realize can actually relate to. So it said, let's talk about the neglect wound. And this is symptoms of the neglect wound, or signs of the neglect wound, you need to work through it. You know what I mean? So they just put some symptoms, and they said struggles to let things go, has low self-worth, gets angry easily, struggles to say no, represses emotions, fears being vulnerable, normally attracts people who don't appreciate them or make them feel seen. So obviously take that all with a pinch of salt. Or is it a grain of salt? I don't know. I think it's a pinch of salt. But anyway, moving on. Yeah, I found that and I was like, oh, okay, that is really good to talk about, because I think more of us are struggling with self-neglect issues or neglect issues in general than we think. And I think when you're living for others over yourself, that can be a very, very big indicator that you are not living for you, babes. You are living for other people, and that is not the way for us to go, is it? So, yeah. And I think honestly, living for other people, falling into that cycle and that trap, it's so easy. Like, it's it's one of those things that's so much easier done than said. Like, it's so easy to fall into it, and sometimes you won't even be aware of it. You can only actually spot it like months later, or like after like all the damage has been done. Or maybe you'll actually be aware of it, but you just don't have the courage to be able to get out of it. But when you think about it, when you're actually living for others and you're not living for yourself, you feel so trapped. Like, you just you feel confined and held down and restricted. Like, but when you live for you and what's right for you, and you live in alignment with who you are and like your values and your morals and beliefs, it's so freeing. And also, like, sometimes you need to realize that also. I think even sometimes I do. I think we, in fact, as a society, need to collectively realize that, okay, if certain people don't appreciate your authenticity, that doesn't mean that your authenticity isn't needed, because it is valuable, it is needed. Someone out there needs to see it and needs to receive it. Your authenticity has power. It has so much power, so use it. Celebrate it, embrace it. It is powerful. And just because you can't see the power that it has doesn't mean that it's not powerful. It is needed. And sometimes it just means that you're not around the right people, you're not in the right environment. You know what I mean? So like, if a plant is trying to grow but it's in the wrong environment, of course it's gonna wither and die. You know what I mean? So sometimes you just need to be in the right environment so you can actually feel comfortable to be like, okay, yeah, actually, no, yeah, I'm okay being authentic with myself. And yeah, we're gonna get into this topic also about being okay to be alone, even if the environment around you is not the best environment to be around. You know what I mean? So yeah, like, especially you gotta take care of yourself first. You can't. I think part of self-neglect is taking care of others when you're not even taking care of yourself first. You can't give love to others and you literally have no love for yourself first. You can't give care for others but you have no care for yourself. You can't give respect to others but you have no respect for yourself. Like, I think honestly, living for yourself and, actually being okay with letting go of those people who don't appreciate you for who you are and your authenticity, it can really help develop your sense of self-love and self-worth, and even self-respect. It helps you develop your self-respect for you. And so, before we get into it, you guys, if the cringe police want to come my way, let them come my way, okay? But so like, for me, if I was living for others and I was not living for myself, I could have decided I will not start this podcast. I will not start it. I will not start this journey. Sorry. I will not start this journey or whatever, because I think other people are going to judge me, and I think other people are going to start looking at me and be like, ew, who does she think she is? Ew, she thinks she's all that. But guys, come on now, let's be so for real right now. People are always gonna judge. People are always gonna have something to say. And I even saw, there's this guy I follow on Insta called Owen Barrow. He's a really good runner. Like, he's so motivational. And he basically posted this reel yesterday, and it said, you will never be criticized by people who are doing more than you. You will always be criticized by people that are doing less than you. And guys, that is so real. That's actually so true. Like, sometimes it's people who are more than you. They will advise you, they will guide you, they will give you constructive criticism. They'll be like, okay, I see you're doing this, but what if you did this as well? Or maybe, that however they're criticizing you, it will always be coming from a place of they want to see you succeed. It will always be coming from a place of you've got potential, let's grow in it, let's develop it. But it's always those people who are beneath you and they're doing less than you and they're feeling threatened and they're feeling jealous. Yeah, they're gonna be the ones who are busy hating, and they're gonna be so. If you start seeing, you're getting haters, or you're getting people who are busy lurking around and they just can't keep themselves, yeah, I think you're doing something right. You really are doing something right. You know what I mean? So do not care, bro. Literally do not care. Do what your gut tells you to do. Because, like, especially, like, what will people actually do to you? They could literally leave a mean comment, okay? They can go cry about it. Like, you can literally choose to forget it within literally a few seconds. Like, you don't have to hold on to it. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Yeah, like, do not care. Do what your gut tells you to do. I think that's like the foundation of actually starting to live for you and take care of you and actually start to not even give on about what the others have to say about you, and actually understand that being your true authentic self, it's powerful and it has so much power and it is valuable. People need it. Keep showing up because someone out there needs you. Maybe you can't see it because especially around yourself every single day, you see everything every single day, but it is still valuable and it is still needed. You know what I mean? So don't let anyone else ever tell you otherwise. So regarding why exactly we do this to ourselves, I think one big factor for so many people is the fear of losing relationships, fear of losing friendships. You're trying to hold onto this relationship or this friendship so tight that you're basically going to say yes to everything. You're going to throw everything away for this relationship, or you just can't set in boundaries, perhaps because, you're afraid of hurting their feelings, or, you keep putting others at the forefront before yourself. That is self-neglect. That is not selflessness. You know what I mean? Selflessness, I think, it's taking account in or others into account, but you still have something for yourself because you still matter. It's like, so that, okay, if I went to a school, right, and then I already know, okay, I already have a good decent amount of income, so maybe I can actually give up this scholarship to someone else. You're not completely neglecting yourself because you still have something to rely on. You still have something to fall back on. Maybe you just don't need it as much as that other person. So you'll give it up for them because you're like, okay, you clearly have nothing, so I'll give it to you. I'll let you have it. It's okay. But I still at least have something for myself because, self-neglect, it will only bring you to your absolute demise, and then eventually you start to associate selflessness and actually being kind and caring. You'll start developing resentment and hatred and just dislike and distaste towards those actions because you thought that selflessness was bringing you all this misery, but no, it was self-neglect, and you just simply could not tell the difference between the two. So also like have a backbone, like, especially like, like the cliche of like doing things, like doing bad things because your friends told you to, like your friends want to go rob a shop or rob a bank and you're like, oh no, I'm not really feeling it, but then you eventually go and do it, and then after now you get in trouble, you get the one left behind. You know what I mean? Like, have a backbone. When you're being a yes man, you're not living for you or actually living life, especially because you did not come into this life with other people. You know what I mean? Like, you did not come into this life for other people. You did not come into this life to live for other people. And yeah, relationships with other people, they're okay. Life would be nothing without friendships. It would be nothing without relationships. It would be nothing. People do make life a very big aspect of what it actually is. and they bring more joy and vibrance into our lives. But because everyone is their own person, everyone is so different, and we all do come from different backgrounds and different upbringings, and we all have different ideas and experiences. Like, we're obviously all going to have different ways of how we approach our friendships and relationships. So it's so key to admit it, like, demonstrate from the start what your boundaries are, how far things can go, how far they can't go, you know what I mean? And it's like, sometimes you have to ask yourself, are you going against your character, beliefs and values? Like, sometimes you'll literally be damaging yourself, and you'll be thinking, okay, because I'm putting myself on the back burner, I'm really helping this relationship, I'm really helping this person. We can so often fool ourselves into thinking that, but no, 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 no. If because realistically, if it's damaging to the relationship, if it makes you unhappy, it's gonna start making you an unenjoyable person to be around. Like, sorry, a less enjoyable person to be around. Forgive my English, guys. But yeah, it will make you a less enjoyable person to be around. And then eventually you'll start seeing that not only that one relationship will start crumbling, but all your other relationships around you will too. Because people just be like, who is this person? Who have you become? Like, people will just not want to be around you anymore, and it will affect all of your relationships. So would you rather put yourself at risk of losing all your relationships, or would you rather just actually develop a backbone for yourself and say, okay, I'm actually gonna do this, you know what I mean? And it's like, why do you not care about your relationship with you, but you do with others? As if you're not the most key relationship to be in with, you know what I mean? And once you develop that backbone and stand up, you will see who the true people are, and the ones who don't like the thought of having to respect you, they will leave. Like, it weeds out the bad roots, and it leaves the ones that are gonna help you grow and flourish and thrive. Because especially because there's so many of us, we keep loads of people around us because we're so afraid of being lonely, and I put that in quotation marks, like lonely or alone. So we want to keep this big circle, even though we know that half the people are not even true to us. They're not going to be there for us. Most of them, they're even evil eyeing us, or they're giving us sometimes they're even giving you bad talk behind your back, or they're just busy preying on your downfall, you know what I mean? But like, sometimes you really need, honestly, true courage and true bravery is being able to have the courage to take that backbone up and see who the true people are, and who the fake ones aren't. And like, the ones who don't like having to respect you, they will leave. And especially think about it, do you want other people in your life to not be respecting you? Like, do you want people to be sitting there in your life? You think these people are your friends? Not everyone is your friend. Like, honestly, I would much rather personally have people around me that respect me, and have like only 2 people around me that respect me, than have a whole bunch of 25 people that do not respect me at all. I would much rather, you know what I mean? Because especially, like, I just don't think it adds any value to my life, or it makes me any better a person, or even it's also with my dignity as well, you know what I mean? Like, I'd much rather be around only 2 people, or 1 person that actually sees me for me and appreciates me for who I am and what I have to offer, than loads of people who just don't honestly want to respect me, or see me for the potential I have, or just want to change me and mold me into the perception of me that they have in their heads, or the image of me they have in their heads. Like, that's just not my vibe, you know what I mean? So, like, work on your independence. Be picky on like who you spend time with. You're okay being alone. You're okay. Like, once you're okay with being alone, and you're okay with being alone over having people that don't align with who you are, That's so powerful. And also only keeping the quality people close. I think that's so powerful because once you have someone who's okay with being alone, they're okay with being lonely, they'll be okay with just having only a few people around or having to be alone if they need to, because they know they're not going to sit there and tolerate people disrespecting them or just not seeing their value or their worth, or just as people, those narcissistic or pessimistic people that just always want to bring you down, or people that just never want to celebrate your successes. Those kinds of people, they gotta go. They honestly do gotta go, especially overly jealous people. Oh, they gotta go. They gotta go straight at the door. Because that's not what we want around here at all. It's not. And also, once you start to know what you deserve, you start to know your worth, then you start to realize, I actually deserve so much better than this. So it's like, take your power back, bro. Take it back. And actually start to see yourself for the absolute king or queen you are. You know what I mean? So yeah, like, have the courage to develop that backbone, because especially sometimes it's like, what do you actually have to lose? Yeah, you'll have a few less people around you, okay? And are they putting any money into your bank account? Are they making you any happier? Are they helping you develop in your career or in your life, or develop emotionally? Are they helping you at all, or are they just there in your life? Because if they're just there, then I think honestly you gotta reconsider. Like, it also comes down to like self-respect and self-dignity. Once you have respect for yourself, you will know and understand what you do and what you don't deserve. And you will not take other people's nonsense, because since when did you start allowing that? I mean, if you want to allow that, I'm not going to support it, but you do you. You know what I mean? But I know, because you guys, we're just on a different level together. So I know you guys aren't going to be like that anyway. So, actually, yeah, we're going to start developing a backbone and actually start saying, okay, we will stand up. And we will fight for the people that we are, and fight for who we are deep down inside, because that is powerful and that's who you deserve to be. You deserve to be able to feel comfortable in who you are. You deserve to be able to feel absolutely comfortable being authentic and be so happy with just being who you are. You know what I mean? So yeah, develop a backbone and be comfortable with being alone, and be so comfortable in yourself that if people don't want to be around you just because you're authentic and you're who you are. I mean, obviously, if you're a toxic person or someone, or you're a bad person, that's a whole different story. But if you're just someone, you literally you're literally so peaceful, like you have no drama around you, like people just don't want to respect you. They just want someone they can run over, but they can't run over you, because you're going to stand your ground. If you don't want to do something, you're going to say, I don't want to do it. And then people will just be like, okay, I just can't. Or you're just not going to come be there at their every beck and call. Because some people like that, honestly, they can be so draining. Like, honestly, know your worth. Be able to develop a backbone for yourself and stand up for yourself. And honestly, it's so crazy how literally once you start to stand up for yourself and respect yourself, and that because everything does start from within. Once you start to respect yourself, it will start to reflect. So other people either have to respect you or they have to leave. You know what I mean? Because it will start reflecting. Your respect to yourself will start reflecting in your actions and how you perceive yourself and how you carry yourself and how you treat others. So people realize, okay, I gotta respect this person, otherwise I gotta leave. And if people don't want to respect you, they will leave. Trust me, they will. So, like, honestly, it's so powerful, and it can honestly be so beneficial to your life. And especially because sometimes you really need to let the old go, so you can you can let the old go so you can let the new in. You've got to die to that old version of yourself so this new one can be born. You know what I mean? That's so powerful, honestly. And that literally links so well, like, where can your independence, you know what I mean? And honestly, I think we've also got to accept that people will come and go. That's literally the circle of life. Like, once you're comfortable with the idea of lonely periods in life, you won't be scared to ruffle feathers. You literally won't. You just won't care anymore, because why should you? like, yeah, that's like what I wanted to talk about on that part of, like, exactly like why we choose to live for others over ourselves, and how that is a part of living for others over ourselves. And then also I want to talk about in the family aspect, like, sometimes we'll be having, honestly, every family is different. Every family has its own different kind of characters and structures, and every family is honestly very different. But um I think honestly, sometimes boundaries can get crossed so much more easily, or it can just be overlooked so much more in families, because the way you talk to each other as well, like, sometimes we can just get too comfortable with one another in family relationships, and we forget to develop those boundaries, or we forget to set those boundaries with others. So they think they can chat to us any way they want to, or any way they can, and you can't do anything about it, because you're their daughter, or you're their son, or you're their nephew, or their niece. So you can't do anything. But boundaries are so key to implement if you can. You know what I mean? And there's sometimes some things are just not appropriate to share, because they would not be talking that way, or you would not be talking that way if you were talking with a person outside of that household or that family. So why do you feel it's okay to talk with each other in a family aspect? Like, it's like, especially because we're still all human as well, we still need to treat each other with respect as well. So sometimes also, like, developing what's it called, respect and boundaries within the family aspect, it's so key. Like, and also because sometimes it can develop like a bad level of insecurity, which like causes detrimental and overly judgmental feelings, because they feel so comfortable to do so, and it's like, babes, no, and it's like, also, in terms of family, like, living to fulfill the lives and dreams of others, when it comes to like family prestige, like, it can plant such unhealthy seeds within our lives. Like, when other family members or parents, like, they can put an idea into us or into you of what you should be like, or what you should live like. But it's like, sometimes you have to be like, I want to impress you, but I want to impress you in my own way. I want to impress you in my own manner. I want to impress you in the way I can. Because especially, like, sometimes family will be giving you advice and advising you, and they'll have expectations, but you got to take it with a grain of salt, and appreciate it, but you have to have the strength to divert, because it can, in the long term, really save the family relationship. Because if you what's it called, if you start right, if you follow this path line that your family has set out for you, but then you absolutely hate it, and then it goes absolutely wrong as well, it's gonna eventually, you're gonna start developing resentment towards your family, or cold and bitter feelings towards your family, and it's honestly gonna destroy the family relationship and the family structure, like the family setting. So sometimes having the strength and the courage to divert, even if it's just doing it quietly, and then just showing them the actual product, and working in silence and showing them the actual product, sometimes that can actually be the better thing to do. But then obviously, I can't be ignorant and I can't be naive. It's so much easier said than done, you know what I mean? It's so much more easier said than done. For some it can't happen, but for some it can. So for some, maybe you just need to take that leap of faith, and take that what's it called, you need to have that strength and that courage to be able to do it, you know what I mean? um and sometimes, yeah, it's so much more safer to trust your gut and do exactly what you want to do, than try and follow what others want you to do. Because sometimes, actually, by doing what you want to do and living for you, you're actually protecting your relationships with other people, and you're protecting those family relationships, you know what I mean? And sometimes, like, through clear communication, good understanding can be found. But then some also on the other side, sometimes it can go absolutely wrong and it can fizzle the relationship. But like, of course, if you're doing something bad with your life, of course your family should go after you and tell you, no, you should not be doing this. If you're doing something bad with your life, you're doing something bad in your life, you're harming yourself, like emotionally or whatever, yeah, your family or your parents should be coming and correcting you 100%. They should be 100% steering you onto the right path. But this is more for like people, if you have like goals and dreams and ideas and you want to live your life for you want to live your life and make it fulfilling for you know what I mean? And other people projecting their ideas and dreams onto you, it's very hard, I know, and it can be very damaging. But again, it's like, it's your life, so you got to do what makes you feel fulfilled and excited about life the way you deserve to. And sometimes peer pressure, now sometimes, very rarely, it can be good, very rarely. Like, what sometimes, maybe if your friends are like, oh my gosh, no, let's go skiing, but you were like, no, I'm not up for it, no, I can't do it. But they're like, no, it's okay, let's go do it, it's gonna be so much fun, like, come on, let's go. So then eventually you give in, you're like, okay, I'll go. And then you end up actually loving it, and then you end up taking up the sport because you're like, okay, I actually love that. That's times when peer pressure can be really good. But majority of the time, it is not good, okay? Like, I personally do not condone it, you know what I mean? And I think most of the time, it can come from not wanting to kill the vibe. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're trying to fit in and blend with the group and not kill the vibe. But it's like, you gotta stop that. Especially when it comes to your body and what you put in it and your health. Like, sometimes, especially, like, people will be, offering you drinks or whatever, and you're like, no, I don't want to drink, I don't want to take that. Someone will be offering you drugs, and like, no, I don't want to take that, sorry. Or people will be like, you want to vape, but you're like, no, I'm good, thanks. But people are peer pressuring you into do something that is harming your body. And it's like, no. Especially even when it comes to sleeping around, I think also when people bring peer pressure into that kind of aspect of life, that's so dangerous. And if you're gonna move away from people like that, because when you're sitting there in a hospital bed, or things have gone absolutely wrong, they've not gone your way, they're not gonna be there looking after you, they're not gonna be there sitting by your side. It's gonna be the family that told you not to do that. It's gonna be the friends that told you not to do that. It's gonna be the people, or sometimes, unfortunately, some people, they'll just even be left there alone. You know what I mean? When it comes to your body and what you put in it and what you do with it, do not let peer pressure determine what you do. And if you can, recognize those red flags and move away. That's why it's so key to be able to work on your independence and be okay with being alone, because you'll be like, okay, I'd much rather be alone than be around people like this, and you will be okay with being alone rather than being around people that are basically damaging you. You know what I mean? Like, people that encourage you to damage you and damage yourself, and those people, they're not your friends. They're actually not. They're really not your friends. And it's like, honestly, you gotta realize who your friends are and who your friends aren't. Not everyone is your friend, you know what I mean? And I think it's so key to actually recognize that, because like, especially like, even like sometimes, like, when it comes to like clothing, like, people be trying to tell you to like dress different ways, like, no, on Wednesdays we wear this, Wednesdays we were pink, you know what I mean? But it's like, girl, go by your style, flaunt it. You deserve to feel good in your own skin, feel good in what you're wearing. So what if other people don't care what you're wearing? You're not wearing it for other people, you're wearing it for you. You felt great when you went into this outfit, or you wore that hairstyle, whatever, so go flaunt it. You know what I mean? Especially because in society we can be so judgmental, but honestly, it's not your issue. Go flaunt your style, because especially there will be some people out there who do appreciate your style, you know what I mean, or do really they'll be like, okay, if they can feel comfortable in wearing their own style, so can I. You know what I mean? So yeah. And like, yeah, not every situation actually has to have peer pressure, because sometimes you gotta ask, like, are you the one peer pressuring yourself, or is it actually others peer pressuring you? Like, so like, if someone like offers you like a vape or something, and then you're just like, you think you've already pre-assumed that, oh, they're gonna peer pressure me, so I'll just say yeah. But if you actually just said no, they'd be like, oh, okay, that's cool, that's fine. You know what I mean? Like, that's why it's so, we gotta stop assuming and making assumptions, because sometimes that's actually the way. Like, that's why communication is so key. Like, what if you just say no? Okay, if they keep pre-pressuring you, then you can leave. But sometimes they'll just be like, okay, that's fine, okay. They just won't care. So it's like, sometimes we really gotta ask ourselves, like, is it actually them putting the peer pressure on us, or are we actually doing it to ourselves? Because we've pre-assumed that they're gonna be the one that's gonna pressure us. You know what I mean? And like, sometimes, only, like, when you think about it, only good things can really come out of it. Either you will have people that you don't need in your life that will leave. So basically, you've let the bad energy and the negative energy out of your life. That's a win already. Because if you see it from the glass half full mindset rather than the glass half empty mindset, that's why perspective is so key. It, from whatever lens you choose to view it from, you will actually see it's actually pretty much a win. I'm not gonna lie. And then sometimes, if you once you actually stand up for yourself and respect your own beliefs, some people actually respect you more. Like, people will be like, okay, they're willing to stand up for what they believe in. They're not gonna back down because of some peer pressure or what other people want them to do, or they'll have enough self-respect to leave the situation. Okay, that's kind of cool. I want to be like that. That's actually quite inspiring. Okay, I like that. I actually respect them. I actually rate them, and maybe you'll even develop more self-respect for yourself, and it also helps you build self-identity, because you've basically said you're comfortable in your identity. You're comfortable in who you are. No one else needs to validate you, because why do you need other people to validate you? You don't. You literally don't. And what other people have to say about you, or what other people think about you, is none of your business. It literally is not. You know what I mean? And then also, because we live in such a competitive society, everyone's living to win, competing for the best job, getting the most money, it's like a very competitive society. And it's like, sometimes we're always living for a thrill of, we're living to be the best in the eyes of others. But like, like, living to be the best, it doesn't mean being happy. You know what I mean? And also, being the best, it's very subjective. You know what I mean? Like, being competitive, trying to, be the most famous, go to the best college, be the prettiest, be the most respectable. Like, we put so much pressure on life to actually be a game or a race, that we eventually hit people and others along the way and take weird shortcuts to get to the top. And that isn't living for you. It's not, because you're now going against your morality and your values and who you are, just to be able to get to somewhere where you may not actually even want to be. If you did the work, you'd realize, okay, this is actually not where I want to be, or maybe it's not how I want to get there. You know what I mean? And I know that's saying, like, it doesn't matter how you get there, just make sure you do. You gotta be careful with that, because hitting people and killing people off along the way, it's very dangerous. It's a very dangerous game to play. So honestly, I'd very much advise against it, especially when it does come to business. You know what I mean? Like, and living for you is winning. You know what I mean? Like, not choosing to align with the expectations that of you that people have. So like, for me, like, my dad, he decided to go for a lower paying job, just because it would mean that he actually got to spend more time with his kids and invest more in his family life. That's an example. He was basically living for him. He didn't care that other people would say, okay, he's not really much on that big of a pay, or they'd look down on him because he wanted to spend more time with his family and actually be there for his family. It was more him actually choosing to live for himself and be like, okay, I'm gonna do what I can with what I have. You know what I mean? I'm gonna actually try and still find fulfillment in what I have got, and I'm not gonna try and put others at the back burner because I want to do this when really it's not even what I want. You know what I mean? And also, like, competitive, it makes you so blind to your own morals and own values. Like, it really does make you lose who you are. And we're trained to believe that if you don't follow the traditional trajectory, or like, we failed. And for some it does work. So like for me it does work, but for some it doesn't. So like for me, I want to go to uni, I want to go get a degree. It's just that's the way I want to go. But for some people that doesn't work, and that is okay. That is more than okay, because it just works for everyone. And also everyone has different career paths and life goals and ways they want to go, and you don't have to be forced to fit into, everyone can't be forced to fit in the same box, because not every box is made to fit everyone. It's not. You know what I mean? And I literally said in like the like 2 episodes ago, like, you don't always have to follow trends. Or if you do want to follow trends, you don't have to follow it the exact same way. You can take your own spin on it, you can make it yours, you can do it your way. You know what I mean? So sometimes look at societal pressures as examples rather than a mandatory mold. You know what I mean? And like, especially like living for societal pressure, I've spoken about this a bit before as well. Like, so many of us have wasted so much money doing this, especially in like Gen Z. So most of us, we don't have that much money. We don't have that much money, but we still spend more than our accounts actually have, which is quite interesting. But just going to the gym, buying this gym membership because other people are, or maybe buying this certain meal, or having this certain breakfast, or eating this certain diet because other people are, or it looks cute on social media, or you know what I mean. But like, doing actually things for you. What do you want to do? Because so like, okay, if fitness is in, you can still go do your fitness in a way that you want to. So like, okay, everyone's going into the fitness era, but like everyone's going to the gym, but you want to be someone who actually develops a community through fitness. You want to actually make friends in that area of your life that you're stepping into. Okay, then you can join a dance class, join a Zumba class, join a running group, join a walking group, do anything. You don't have to solely just go to the gym because everyone on social media is doing that and everyone is telling you to. Or maybe you want to implement more fruits into your breakfast, or stuff into your breakfast, but you don't like this certain fruit, but everyone is eating it and they're giving all these benefits of it, and they're like, whoa, it really changed. But it's like, you can still have a healthy breakfast, but you can just put some more fruits in that you like or that you adore. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to follow trends exactly the way they're given and presented. You can take them on your own spin, and that's more than okay. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think this is pretty much what I had to say on like the topic of, the fine line between selflessness and self-neglect, and living for yourself and others. And yeah, honestly, living for yourself, it takes courage, it takes work, it's something that's not going to feel comfortable, it's going to require you stepping out of your comfort zone, but that is powerful. And sometimes stepping out of your comfort zone, it can literally be the best thing you could ever do for yourself. But obviously when you're in the comfort zone, you won't ever see that, you won't even ever recognize that. You know what I mean? But take that step of faith, take that leap of faith, especially because sometimes you already have nothing to lose, so why not just do it? You know what I mean? And if the people around you aren't going to support you and root for you, then they're not the right people, and let them go. Why are you holding on to them? You don't need them. You know what I mean? Be comfortable in who you are. Be comfortable in your independence. Because part of self-respect is realizing you'd much rather just be alone with yourself and nourish your relationship with yourself and develop yourself than be around loads of people that are just in fact decreasing the quality of your mental health or your emotional development. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's pretty much what I had to say and what I wanted to talk about. Yeah. The show is available everywhere now, you guys, so you can go listen to it everywhere. You can go listen to it everywhere. You can give the show a rate if you liked it. Or you could even share it with a friend as well. Yeah. Thank you so much for listening, you guys. I really hope this episode really, really impacted you and really helped you. Happy Sunday, by the way. Happy Sunday. I love Sunday vibes. Sunday vibes, yeah. Yeah. So thank you so much for listening, you guys. I hope you have a lovely day or weekend or whatever time you're listening. Be sure to give the show a rate, leave a review on Apple Podcast if you can, because that really helps. And a review, a rate and review. And yeah, thank you so much for being here, you guys. Sending all of my love your way. And yeah, tune in next Sunday for another episode of the Joy with Intention podcast with your host, Joy. Yes, bye.